If you thought Russell Brand was a total and complete moron before, here he is sitting in a very expensive hotel room talking about how much he hates the rich.
Political point of view, but it's not that I'm not voting out of apathy. I'm not voting out of absolute indifference and weariness and exhaustion from the lies, treachery, deceit of the political class.
And what he had been telling the interviewer so far was that he doesn't vote. He doesn't vote. The guy's trying to quiz him on that and on why.
There's been going on for generations now, and which has now reached fever pitch, where we have a disenfranchised, disillusioned, despondent underclass that are not being represented by that political system. So voting for it is tacit complicity with that system, and that's not something I'm offering up.
Well, why don't you change it then?
I'm trying to.
Well, why don't you start by voting?
I don't think it works. People have voted already, and that's what's created the current paradigm.
When did you last vote?
Never.
You've never, ever voted?
No. Do you think that's really bad?
So you struck an attitude, what, before the age of 18?
Well, I was busy being a drug addict at that point because I come from the kind of social conditions that are exacerbated by an indifferent system that really just administrates for large corporations and ignores the population that it was blaming to serve.
You're blaming
Agonizing.
Stop for a second. I believe in the large corporations that are co-opted by the federal government. I believe in that. Google, GE.
Yeah,
that is true.
They're not causing me to become a drug addict. Or anyone else.
No, they're not.
They're not causing anybody on this planet to become a drug addict. That is just pathetic.
In fact, if anything, the government is doing stuff to prevent you from being a drug addict and it's questionable whether they should do this, but they're making the substances you're talking about illegal.
Yeah.
So I don't think the government is getting you addicted to drugs.
You had a drug problem?
No. I'm saying I was part of a social and economic class that is underserved by the current political system, and drug addiction is one of the problems it creates when you have huge, underserved, impoverished populations.
I love that. So you're saying that the system caused you to become a drug addict? No, I'm saying that because of the system, I became a drug addict. That's what I'm saying. He just says the exact same thing a different way.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Get drug problems and also don't feel like they want to engage with the current political system because they see that it doesn't work for them. They see that it makes no difference. They see that they're not served. I say that
it doesn't
the
work for
apathy,
them if they don't bother to vote.
Jeremy, my darling, I'm not saying that the apathy doesn't come from us, the people. The apathy comes from the politicians. They are apathetic to our needs. They're only interested in servicing the needs of corporations. Look at what ain't the Tories going to court and to taking the EU to court because they're trying to curtail bank bonuses. Is that what's happening at the moment in our country?
Stop for a second. Stu, the guy's a moron. Don't get me wrong. But what part of this isn't accurate about they don't care about the average person.
Well,
government does not care about the average person. They only care about their real constituents, the ones who have money, the corporations.
Because we know what he's saying, and what he's saying is the answer to this is much, much, much more government.
Wait a minute. We didn't get to the answer yet.
Because I know his answer.
I know that. But we didn't get to the answer yet. I think this is the problem. This is the problem. This is how they're going to win. If we don't recognize that what he's saying in the first half is 80% true. The government's not making you a drug addict. That's your choice. That's always your choice. But that's a Marxist philosophy that, government always controls me. No, it doesn't. Even in a concentration camp, you still have a choice. So the government doesn't control your choices. You do. Beyond that, everything else that he's saying here so far is pretty fair.
I don't know about that. I don't know about
that. You're telling me that our government, and I know he's talking about England, which is farther down the road than we are. You're telling me that our government cares more about the individual than they do their real constituents of power, labor, and corporations?
No, but he's saying much more than that.
Where? What did he say? What?
He's blaming not just the government. He's blaming the corporations because they make money. They're causing other people to be poor.
He hasn't said that yet.
He's saying he's about to. He's about to,
but he's not saying that yet. This is you have. See, here's the problem.
He has said that in that he's blaming his drug addiction on corporations.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's made the point, maybe not as overtly as you'd like, but he's made the point.
80% of what he's saying is true.
I'll give you 8.
20%.
8% of what he's saying.
I don't think so.
I'm going to give you 8.
Guys, if we can't recognize, we'll never be able to unite if we can't recognize that the system does not respond to the individual. It is no longer set up to listen nor care about the individual. They will placate the individual. They will do smoke and mirrors to the individual. But all they care about is the people in power, the people that have money, giant corporations, or labor. That's all they care about.
See if you agree with 80% of what he has to say here.
I won't.
Coming up.
Tune in for that.
You don't believe in democracy. You want a revolution, don't you?
The planet is being destroyed. We are creating an underclass. We are exploiting poor people all over the world. And there are genuine, legitimate problems.
Exploiting poor people.
We are not exploiting poor people all over the world.
We're not killing the planet.
We are not killing the planet.
No.
What was the third one? The third one I think I agreed with.
Yeah, the other one wasn't as bad. God, he's just so agonizing. It's hard to tune him in.
It is.
I know. But the third one, I think, the middle one, I think was fairly accurate.
The people are not being addressed by our political class.
All of those things may be
accurate.
Absolutely accurate.
All right, that part might be, well, one sentence has been accurate.
true.
They are true.
But you took... I wouldn't argue with you about many of them.
Well, how come I feel so cross with you? It can't just be because of that beard. It's gorgeous.
It's possibly
And
because...
if the Daily Mail don't want it, I do. I'm against them. Grow it longer. Tangle it into your armpit hair.
You are a very trivial man.
What do you think? I am trivial?
Yes.
A minute ago, you were having a go at me because I want a revolution. Now I'm trivial. I'm bouncing about
I'm
all
not
over
having
the
a
place.
go at you because you want a revolution. Many people want a revolution, but I'm asking you what it would be like.
Well, I think what it won't be like is a huge disparity between rich and poor.
Really?
Where 300 Americans have the same amount of wealth as the 85 million poorest Americans.
Stop.
Yeah, go ahead. Criticize our system, Russell.
Yeah. Yeah, the system that has made him a wealthy man.
And
the system, he describes the system he grew up in, which made him a drug addict. Somehow he overcame that horrible system and is a rich, famous millionaire now.
And the truth about our system is that the very, very wealthy have a higher percentage of the wealth than in other countries. Also, the person at our poverty line is more wealthy than 85% of the rest of the world. Not of the world's poverty line, but of the world, everybody in the entire world.
Everybody.
That's the system.
Here is the problem. I remembered the second thing that I did agree. We are erasing the middle class. We are.
Yeah,
the world is being the world's middle class in the last 10 years is being slowly erased. We are being impoverished, and you watch what is going to happen with the Fed as they devalue our money. Those who are in the know, those who are playing the game, they'll have money. They'll be able to take their money and they'll put it in Singapore, whatever it is. They'll have it. You won't have it. You won't have it. And so the government, the elites, the corporations, labor, anybody who is in the special groups, they will be able to survive, but they will impoverish. And we are headed towards cataclysmic shifts on that because we no longer believe in true freedom. His answer to the problems are wrong. His answers are wrong because he doesn't understand what America stood for and really means. But most Americans don't either. Most Americans are socialists. Most Americans think that the two options are fascism and socialism.
Oh, I don't think most Americans feel that way. No way.
Oh,
no way do most.
I think they think those are the two edges.
But I mean, what Russell Brand here is doing is this is Occupy Wall Street.
Yes,
and
it is.
If you remember, there were elements.
And he was there.
Yeah, he was there.
And there were elements, if you remember, that there would be certain libertarian groups that would occasionally show up there, and you'd wonder how. Well, because some of the complaints are legitimate, but the answers are all.